This is the moment of your birth. You, a tiny male crocodile, have just cracked through your eggshell and entered the world. The air is humid, the muddy nest around you is damp, and the sounds of the swamp fill your ears, buzzing insects, croaking frogs, and the distant calls of birds. But you don't understand any of it yet. Your vision is weak, your legs are feeble, and you have no idea that you've just been born into a brutal fight for survival. Your siblings hatch alongside you, chirping weakly. You're all small, fragile, and vulnerable. And the moment you took your first breath, nature placed a massive target on your back. Everything around you wants to eat you, from birds to fish to other crocodiles. Even reaching the water, just a few feet away, will be your first challenge in a life filled with them. The first struggle, reaching water. Your mother, a fierce and experienced crocodile, is waiting for you. She carefully picks you up in her powerful jaws, carrying you and your siblings to the nearby river. But even under her protection, danger lurks everywhere. Birds circle above, waiting for a chance to snatch you. If you somehow got separated from your mother, you'd be an easy meal for almost anything in the swamp. Once in the water, you feel slightly safer, but only slightly. The river is full of dangerous fish that are larger than you, snakes that can swallow you whole, and even other crocodiles that don't think twice about making a snack out of a newborn. You stick close to your mother, knowing she's the only thing keeping you alive. Growing up, the constant struggle. In the first few weeks, most of your siblings are gone. Some were eaten, others got sick, and a few just vanished. The world is cruel to young crocodiles, and only the toughest survive. Food is a constant struggle. At this size, you eat insects, small fish, and whatever else you can catch. Sometimes you go to bed hungry, your tiny stomach growling. But hunger isn't the only problem. You must also avoid becoming food yourself. Larger crocodiles, fish, and even wading birds could snatch you up in an instant. You've learned to hide in the shallows, barely peeking above the water, hoping that nothing notices you. The teenage years, growing, but not safe. You've made it past the early weeks, which means you're one of the lucky ones. You've grown larger, and now you can hunt bigger prey: frogs, crabs, and small mammals. But even though you're no longer tiny, danger still surrounds you.
The teenage years, growing but not safe. You've made it past the early weeks, which means you're one of the lucky ones. You've grown larger, and now you can hunt bigger prey: frogs, crabs, and small mammals. But even though you're no longer tiny, danger still surrounds you. Other young crocodiles fight you for food, snapping at you if you get too close to their meal. If you wander into the territory of a much larger crocodile, you're as good as dead. The rivers and swamps belong to the strong, and you're not strong enough yet. You also face a new threat: humans. You've started seeing them more often, walking along the riverbanks, sometimes throwing food into the water. But your mother has taught you to be wary. You've seen what happens when crocodiles get too close: some never return. Humans build dams that change the river, pollute the water, and sometimes even hunt crocodiles for their skin. You learn to keep your distance, but you also learn that humans can be unpredictable. The fight for territory, becoming an adult, years pass, and you're finally big enough to claim your own territory. But that means fighting. Crocodiles don't share, they battle for the best hunting spots, and if you can't hold your ground, you'll be forced into weaker areas where food is scarce. Fights with other crocodiles are brutal. You've seen older males with missing limbs and scars covering their bodies. You know that if you lose, you might not get a second chance. Winning doesn't guarantee safety either. Other young crocodiles are always looking for a chance to take your spot. Mating season arrives, bringing another challenge. If you want to pass on your genes, you have to fight off rivals. The fights are violent, often ending in deep wounds. Even if you win, infection could kill you before your injuries heal. But you push forward, driven by instinct. Old age, the final struggle. After decades of surviving the harsh swamp, you're no longer as fast or strong as you once were. Your teeth are worn down, your reflexes are slower, and younger crocodiles challenge you more often. One day, a larger male finally beats you in a fight. You retreat, forced into a less desirable part of the river. Hunting becomes harder. Your body is heavier, and you can't strike as quickly as before. Injuries take longer to heal, and your energy isn't what it used to be. But you keep going, because survival is all you've ever known. One day, as you bask on the riverbank, you sense a new danger approaching. Whether it's another crocodile, a predator, or a human with a rifle, You don't have the strength to fight anymore. But you don't run either. You've lived a life of constant struggle, of battles won and lost, of brutal lessons learned in the unforgiving swamp. And as the sun sets over the river, you close your eyes, knowing you've survived far longer than most, knowing you've done everything you could in a world that never made life easy for a crocodile.